Okay, so we have that. Is he? We'll have that on, and I'm gonna play Brave Souls in the meantime, and that's what I'm gonna do. Ooh, new illustration. Watch this, just new illustration. That's it. And make it. I think this actually goes on until. If they're talking about the third season, that means they're probably gonna announce something. Most likely. I don't know. There's a chance. There's a chance. In the meantime, I grind out for Ichigo and White, and we see what happens. I'm looking at the camera in case something does happen. It's gonna be really funny if it's just a new illustration. If it's just an illustration and like that's the only news, that is gonna be hilarious. Cause what could they even talk about? Cause this is Infinity, I guess, but are they really gonna talk about Infinity? When they have this, they're gonna always promote the new game. They didn't promote Infinity then again. They did and they didn't. What else do they have? It's just a trailer. Is like gonna be a new? Is this gonna get a new trailer before season 3 even gets a new trailer? That'd be really funny. I have low expectations, so it's like I'm not expecting much at all. At worst, I must don my wings of wax and have to deal with the bet that I made. And either I'm right and I'm a prophet, or I'm wrong, and this will be all horribly wrong for me. Kind of funny that Infinity, a game that I feel like is a little bit choppy on animation sometimes, feels like it has a little bit more character in the animations. Not to like fully shit on these, but like it does feel like there's more there. And that's shocking because I do feel like some animations in that game are stiff. I also haven't even logged into Infinity in a while, mainly because it's on the dead computer. And also Infinity just genuinely got worse as it went on, so I feel like it feels weird, but sometimes like it feels like companies don't fully know how to hook people in, because you show characters walking around and posing and all this sort of shit, and it's just like, wow, I can play a video game. Like, I don't know, show something cool, show cool animations, interesting interactions, that sort of shit. Like that's kind of why I don't know if I have high hopes for this game at all, because what's gonna like come out of it, right? It feels like Re Zero Genshin Impact, and I'm already not huge on Genshin. I got bored of it as soon as I got like an hour or two in. So like it's cool, and I do want to be able to enjoy something like that, right? Like an open world with zero game sounds awesome, but it's the problem of you advertise it and it doesn't look great. I have no incentive to play it with the way you're advertising it. Then again, this series kind of just gets fucked over, I feel, in terms of games, because there's like there's a visual novel which I guess is on par for the topic of the series and everything. Um, there's what was Lost in Memories, which was an absurdly basic game, right? It was like the WoW. It was basically an auto game. It was borderline an auto game. You could select some things, but were you really going to? Um, then there's Infinity, which has, from what I can tell, on neither end, barely any community support. Yeah. And then there's the Witch's Resurrection, which just has like no proper advertising. It's like the only good thing that comes out of these mobile games half of the time. For this series specifically, because I think for other games, some good shit can come out of it, is just unique costumes, which we get already. I mean, look at the screen, but this footage is going to mean nothing if like they don't actually reveal anything. So I'm just saying this for no reason, but like, I don't know. You know, last time they were super nice. I mean, that was a different event. This is MF Bunko. I have zero expectations, but I will say, in case they do announce anything, last time they were super nice because they just did that shit immediately. They were like, oh yeah, here's the introduction, yeah, blah 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 blah, us, all this. Alright, trailer. Just do that. Just do that from now on. Like, not even just them, every company out there, just do that. Don't like, dip your toes in the water, go full force dip into it. Do it. Because, like, yeah, you can make the argument of, like, well, then nobody's going to watch the whole thing and learn about all this cool stuff, and it's, like, true. People will also leave, though, if nothing's happening. There's that. Like, either way, it's a loss for you, but if you announce the thing first, people might be interested to hear more, right? And you could deliver more details about it later, even, right? If you just announce it at first, and then deliver more details later, you hook them in still. Regardless, is people can check Twitter at any point in time, right? So earlier or later in terms of announcement doesn't make too much of a difference. People are just gonna not watch and then like go to Twitter later and be like, oh, okay, they did announce something, or okay, there was nothing. I'm complaining a lot, but I do love this series. I don't know if I enjoy how well it's handled, because it's not handled super well. Not specifically anime wise, right? That's a whole different topic. And should this actually show something, I will be revealing here for the first time that I do plan on discussing something about that, along with a lot of other series. That is a big video I might actually just release. But the anime thing, should this actually be created into a proper video instead of just this that I will dump? This is pretty much what it is. It's Russian roulette of if I dump this or if it actually is getting made into a video. But it's kind of the thing of, the anime part, whatever, right? That's a whole different deal. I'll get into that with a different video because I think there's something I should discuss with that. But in terms of how it's treated, merchandise-wise, game-wise, and everything, I think that's a separate scenario where it's like, I'm getting so distracted because I'm like just speaking on Discord. It's the thing of how it's handled in terms of merch, games, all this sort of shit that I think is a problem. It doesn't seem like Kadokawa understands where their sales would really come from and everything, like where they could actually optimize this shit. To them, they just see, well, there's female characters, so we can do well with that. But from what I remember seeing, there was an actual calculated amount of, like, majority of the fan base is female. And because, a lot of, from like the general consensus I've learned, a lot of female anime viewers are people who will more so look for a proper story and everything than, just simple action and all that, which I like. I also do that as well. I'm cool, right? I'm not even trying to make some weird point that I'm just having some fun, but I do that as well to a degree where it's like I'm focusing more so on story and everything. That said, I have goop brain in the sense that I will essentially either want great story, it doesn't have to have action, but great story, or great action, and it doesn't necessarily have to have story, but if it's interesting enough with its action and the cool stuff it does, Baki, for example, I'm okay. Like, I'm a-okay with those, right? It's just a matter of what the fuck is going on here. It's a matter of how, maybe it's balanced, right? Maybe it's focused on one area more than the other, right? That's just me. But I do know the general thing with female fan base is like, oh, they focus more with story and everything. So this series is a lot bigger for them because they get to focus on the actual story. Whereas, I'm not gonna lie, it is clear that some male viewers view it in a certain way that's not really great, right? And kind of leaves the reputation of the series as that. But it's like, if they focused on what would work, we could get a lot more cool stuff. It'd be a lot more interesting. It would be good for them because they could get sales, but it would also be like, we actually get stuff, right? Like I mentioned, it's like merch, right? Make dudes. It sounds weird to say, but like, just make figures of the male characters. It's like, there's a lot of people who do a lot of like shipping related stuff there and everything. And hey, you do you. I'm not gonna even complain about that or anything, right? You want to do that? Sure, go ahead. I don't really care. As long as, like, in any scenario, regardless of how you're viewing something, as long as you're not forcing it down somebody's throat, I think that's okay. But like, the general thing is, I think for something like that, they could definitely get a lot of sales there with that sort of scenario, and they don't really see that, along with the video game stuff, right? I was talking about Resurrection there, and that is a thing where if you just look into the market of people who like video games, people like playing video games and doing cool shit in video games, even if it's a series like this, take advantage of it, right? It's like, it's a fucking video game. You can surely pay for it, especially with a series as popular as this. It probably has enough that you'll be okay. So take advantage of it. But they don't, and it's weird. They try to play like the safest shit possible. You know what I should do? I should take this, and I should put it on the second channel. I should splice it up in these parts where I'm actually talking about shit. I should just put it on the second channel. Just for fun. Because why not? We did stream the original one last year. And I mean, that one we had expectations, and now we don't. I think the expectation was, I believe somebody mentioned, like, oh yeah, an OVA got announced here one time or something like that, so there could be more, right? And it's like, oh, the thought of that is cool. The thought of that, but I kind of want to look at that illustration again. Last one, which means they have probably 15 minutes after that. Thinking about it this way, if they have 15 minutes left and they still haven't talked about the novel, they're probably just going to talk about the novel and that's going to be it. Which is to be expected, you know. I didn't go into this with any high hopes, but there is almost always that shred of, you know, hopefully they'll do something cool. Anyways, I'm playing Dokkan now too. I just have 2 gacha games going. Reinstalled this. I don't know. I like Super Saiyan 4s. I started Dragon Ball with GT. Fun fact about that. We're not even talking about Re Zero anymore, but yeah, fun fact. I actually started with GT. That was my first ever anime, and then I went to Z, and then that became, you know, the proper first experience and everything. That said, I still really do enjoy GT, and I will defend it. I think it has problems, but I will defend parts of it. And then yeah, that's where everything started. Come to think of it, did I even, just random, you know, thing where we get to talk about this. Did I even experience that much anime for a while? Because I'm not going to include Pokemon really, and Yu-Gi-Oh! I could include, but if I'm going to include it, I'm going to include when I watched it subbed, which was like in high school. So that was a while ago. Uh, hmm. I mean, I guess not like that much of a while ago. I guess it probably was a while ago, isn't it? Because you finish. Oh shit, yeah, you finish like high school mostly at like 18-ish. Everything. It's been a few years since then. Damn. Damn. That's like crazy to think. Anyways, yeah, but Yu-Gi-Oh! I didn't watch since like early high school, like subbed. So I'm not gonna include that until then. Um, what the fuck is going on here? You know what? I'm not even gonna bother. Um, they're just making a mess. Um, right. So I think the next experience with anime I did watch like half of Attack on Titan when I was young, but much like now, I still had the opinion that I enjoyed it for the Titan stuff and I wasn't really huge on the plot. I don't know, I just never really cared all too much. Maybe if I like went and watched season 2 and season 3, I haven't heard great things about the fourth at least from my general friend group. Um, but maybe if I watched season 2 and 3, I would maybe enjoy it, right? Now that I've actually kind of diversified my taste a lot more. But I just remember being like kind of focused on Titan action because it's like it's cool, right? That survival type of scenario is cool. We in my friend group we watched Terraformers once, and that was cool, right? The plot was weird, but it was cool because I like the scenario where you have to survive against these things that can just kill you that easily, right? It's like it's cool. So that was something that was always interesting. Was like seeing that, right? It was a bit goofy, but it was interesting. But yeah, there was the time where I did watch half of Attack on Titan, and now I'm trying to think. I think the next experience I had was like super early high school, before I even rewatched Yu-Gi-Oh, which I think was a year later actually, or like two, something like that. Um, which was JoJo, right? I watched JoJo from there. I saw a lot of clips of it, and then I kind of watched it from there, and I did watch enough YouTube poop type of stuff and everything, and all these sort of edits, that I recognized a lot of the lines and everything, right? Like the Re and all that shit. Like I knew about all of those because of watching all that. So it was interesting. It's like, oh shit, this is stuff I remember, but I didn't realize it was from here. But that was fun. That's a series I love. It is. Where is it on my top 10 now? It's fifth? No. Number 6. It's on my number 6 spot, I believe, because yeah, above it is Gurren, One Piece, Bleach, Re Zero, and then Fist of the North Star. And speaking of Fist of the North Star, I believe I watched that before Yu-Gi-Oh, but like this wasn't like long before, right? This was like short little while before, but I think I watched that before it. And then yeah, and for a while it's like it was only really like those 4 shows that I had seen, and then I watched Devilman like a while later, um, all that sort of shit, and from there like it wasn't until I think 2021 or 2022, no 2021 I believe, where I started watching a bunch of stuff. Yes, 2021 because that's when I watched Re Zero, and that's also when I watched a bunch of other stuff. I was doing show exchanges with friends, all that sort of shit. I had not seen a lot of animes. I'd always seen clips, and because of like how people act sometimes regarding anime, it's a little bit hard to actually watch certain things because of that. But like, yeah, because nothing's happening. Let's discuss me and Brave Souls. So I'm excited because the anniversary units dropped tonight. I might stay up for them. I do like Ichigo from Found in Your Blood War a lot, and White is interesting. White's really cool, but it makes sense because of how that whole thing works with Ichigo and everything. So I think that works really well. That's a pretty cool Annie concept. It's very unique. I'm also playing Dokkan, and it actually feels more unique than Dokkan's scenario because Dokkan's scenario was supposed to be quote unquote unique, but it was, but it wasn't really because it was still Goku and Vegeta for the anniversary twice. Uh, Whereas Brave Souls is actually doing something interesting where it's like, oh, here's a character you would never expect for an anniversary, but it makes sense given its connection with the main character and this sort of shit. And it works out really well. And I think that's really cool. I think being experimental but having a like connection still there is interesting for that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's gonna be novels. But yeah, overall, I am excited. I do have a decent amount of gems saved up. Not enough to do the whole last banner, but enough that I can get a featured character. I probably should have grinded earlier and made sure I was ready. They're just talking about all these guys. EX5, EX5's out. I have EX5 right. Fucking. It might be a pain in the ass to put back. No, it's fine. Okay, thank God. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, my main thing is what's that? Oh, that's just the manga. I mean, yeah, I have the manga too. I could take out, or is it? What was the recent volume that came out in English? 6. Well, I guess the next one is that. Right, it's 7. Gotta wait for that. But yeah, I think that's something that a lot of companies should do more. Be more experimental with anniversaries. Brave Souls actually does it a lot, where they give unique costumes and forms to characters, and I think that's really cool. Do that. It's cool. I think more games should be experimental, and I get focusing on what happens with the anime. But, like, technically speaking, Re Zero does that with, or did that with Lost in Memories, but I guess it still does that with Infinity. But just have fun with it, right? Have fun with anniversary units and all that sort of shit. I think it works out well, and it's, like, really cool. That said, shockingly this time the units are experimental, but they're not really that insane in terms of Brave Souls, because it's like it's units that are pre-existing characters, right? They're not new forms or costumes, these are pre-existing characters, but they've never necessarily been implemented in the game. So they're new, but they're also not new. Essentially, they're not new because it's just from the anime, but they're new because they weren't in the game before. I guess you could mention something about Ichigo, but the thing is, Ichigo didn't necessarily have what he has with his whole thing here in the original one. Like, he kind of does, but he doesn't. It's hard to explain, and I don't want to mention any spoilers. But it's like, it's a general thing where it's like, it's there, but it's not really. So I like what they're doing. It's also like, you know, a big costume difference, right? It's him from the end of, like, Core 1, whereas opposed to the one that's in the game is near the end of the series. So it's like, there's a difference there. Albeit, I guess the outfit... Would the outfit be more... No, because he had that outfit at the end. I was thinking, like, oh, it might have been a little battle-torn or something, so there's a chance that it would be different by the... Or there would be a difference by the end, so that, therefore, it would still technically be a mix in there. I don't know what to describe. I do like the Ichigo, though, because this is something I wanted, like, specifically that outfit and everything. I was hoping his art would have 2 characters in the background as, like, just kind of slightly drawn in. Not gonna say who, but, you know, it'd be cool if they were slightly drawn in there. That would be interesting, right? Have it be, like, the promotional art for Core 1. And, yeah, overall, that was something I enjoyed to see, and I'm excited to pull. I'm currently getting even more. I might even be able to do another step on the banner, which is very exciting. As for Dokkan, I'm grinding the Peppy Gals 2 EZA, because I haven't done EZAs in a while. I haven't even installed the game in a while. I haven't played since... When's the last time I played Dokkan? It was during the Transforming Cell and the Gohan and Goku. That was the last time I actually played. I installed for the 8th Annie, did a few multis, got a few things. That was about it. I didn't get any of the actual banner, like, proper focused units. But I haven't actually played in a long while, so I have a lot of ECAs I can do, and I can just get stones. And I want the Super Saiyan 4, like, Goku there. And I also want the duo units and everything, because I also love the Buu Saga a lot, right? I'm weird. I like the Buu Saga a lot. I like GT. I'm weird. But, like, Buu Saga is my favorite, is what I mean. So those anniversary units are perfect for me, and I definitely want to get them. I do have one of them actually. I have the GT Duo. I just now need to get the Super Saiyan 3 and Super Saiyan 2. And as for Super Saiyan 4 Goku, there's him too. His the figure actually. I have a figure of him. He's right behind the camera. It's interesting. If you've seen the reviews, you know about that. I think that's it. Now we're gonna mute this so that there's no copyright. Okay. Well, this is going on the second channel, isn't it? About what I was expecting.